Some of it might have been my fault. I thought
Leave all that in. So, the only reason I'm truly here, sitting here in this moment today, is because enough of you have reached out to me and been like, I miss you, I love you, are you okay? Are you alive? Is the podcast over? Like, did you finish? You know? And I mean, yes, hi, I love you, I'm fine. I'm not finished, but obviously, you know, the world is upside down. And my whole life has been super weird, like the last month, and I'll tell you everything, obviously. But I feel like this doesn't really matter. And what's weird is like this actually does matter, and like this is so on trend, even though I was like, I just told James, I feel like I've been wearing a tinfoil hat for the last, 7 years, and now everyone's finally like, did you know that aliens can read our minds? Like that's what it feels like to be like, yeah, dude, the cops are bad. Like they're so bad. They're not here for you. They're like racist and they're evil and like they're out to fuck you up, and like they have like a culture of oppression and corruption, and like they protect each other and they don't give a fuck about you or anything. Cops are bad, but that's God, that's like, let's go back a little bit more. Where have I been? So my life has been super weird the last couple of months, like ever since I've been back in Chicago, back like trying to be a person again after having a pretty, rough year, rough 2 years. Trying to like come back and re-assimilate to normal life, which I haven't really done a super great job of doing, but it's just been a lot of moving and a lot of missteps. Like my family was kind enough to be like, hey, look, like we have a place in the city, you can stay here, but you have to like follow all of these really specific rules. And like that worked out so well that I was like, fuck you guys. And they were like, fuck you, actually. And they were right. And I moved into this artist collective in like, a far west part of like the city of Chicago. And oh, fuck, you guys, was that a mistake? That was a mistake because I'm stupid and bad and I make poor decisions and I have like bad coping skills. So I moved into this artist collective with my best friend and like 3 dudes, and it seemed like a really great idea. At first I was like, wow, there's, space. I could do podcasting there. I can have comedy shows there. We can have, art installations there. I can really like be creative and like thrive. And I have like, a friend that I want to like work on creative projects with who's there. And like these people seem all really like open and interesting and cool. And that was great until, quarantine hit and I fucked one of my roommates and essentially like fucked my whole life up. That wasn't really like, the worst thing that happened, but I have to like put fault where it's due. And the truth is I'm like a sex addict who makes really bad decisions, and it was a stupid idea to have sex with someone that I lived with, especially who turned out to be an unstable alcoholic, and like drove everyone in the house, including and especially me, crazy to the point of like I wasn't safe there. And that's fucking cool. I had like a nice place in the city to stay that, was like really safe and within, the realms of like making my family feel like somewhat happy and satisfied. And instead I traded all in for like a fucked up situation that I made worse because of my bullshit baggage. So just wanted to be really honest with you guys that I am a slut and I get into lots of trouble because that's like not a good way to live. I wouldn't recommend it, And on top of being slutty and like sleeping with the worst person I could have chosen to sleep with, I was also like romantically invested in like a real person, like a comedian. Blech, it's so stupid. Like, oh, it's just I have to stop fucking comedians. And one of these days I will. But I was in this like weird, not real, not committed. Obviously, I was fucking my roommate. But like thing with this guy that I really liked, and then it ended, and that sucked. And it was my fault. And it ended because I don't know, because I'm fucking too real. No, it ended because I make bad choices, and sometimes I expose things that I shouldn't just because I've gotten so used to doing that, and I've gotten so much positive reinforcement from people who are like, I love seeing all these intimate parts of your life that like other people don't show. Like, I love that you love that, and I'm down to clown. So, but that doesn't mean that like the people who I'm exposing are into that, especially when I'm being like a little bitchy and like funny, but like, you know, like mean. Then it makes other people feel bad, and that sucks. And like I've just not even changed my behavior, just done it over and over again to the point where now it's just kind of like you either know that that's what it's like to hang out with me or you hate me. And I have several people at this point that I've had sex with that I've done this to on Instagram that fucking hate me. They fucking hate me, and they think that I'm a psycho, and they're not wrong, you know, to feel those ways. So cool. I've made all the mistakes. I suck. I'm a bad person. Do you guys still want me to do the podcast? You know, it's just like, how have I been, you know, like killing it, obviously. No, but actually, whoa, I'm like killing it though. If truth be told, so I got backed into a corner where I was, you know, living in this fucked up, dangerous, like scary situation. Like he was a scary alcoholic. I was paying $1,000 a month to like relive my childhood trauma, you know, like I'm not even gonna, it's like not even fair to like get into that, like what he would do. But like it was enough where I was like, I got to get the fuck out of here, you know, and I would have done anything to do that. And I had to like move fast, even though it took over a month. But I finally found a place. I live alone. I went to California for a little bit. I had to take care of some shit with my family. And then I moved, and moving sucks. And like in comparison to everything, it was like the easiest, best thing I've done, but like moving sucks. So then I moved. And now I have this new awesome place, and I'm like safe and happy for the first time in forever. And then the fucking protest came about. You know, it's just like everything in my life was so turbulent and unstable and scary and weird and fucked up. And like I was just sort of like going through the motions so that I could get to a point where I could finally fucking breathe. Ironic, yes. And then, you know, and then the protest happened, which is like great. I mean, I'm so ride or die for BLM. Like you have no idea how hard I rep that shit, which is just fucking, human rights. You know what I mean? Like anti-establishment, anti-corruption, like anti-treating people who are in vulnerable positions like they don't fucking matter. Like, yeah, what the fuck do you think I've been doing here this whole time? Like, I don't have to do this podcast anymore. Like, I don't fucking need this shit. Like, I pay for this to happen. You know what I mean? Like, I do this for you, for people to understand that, like, not only does this happen, but this happens to someone even like me who's like privileged and white passing and has money and like resources and is articulate and intelligent enough to like realize what happened and then like take some time to go back and be like, okay, what can I do with that? How can I like make a tangible difference in like, you know, the fuck, and like, have I done anything? You know what I mean? Have I had any impact at all? I don't know. Okay, so I have gotten a lot of really cool messages. And like sometimes people send me stuff and like they do pay me to smoke weed online, which, okay, so yeah. So that's been cool. But like in the grand scheme of things, as far as like the numbers of people that are being affected negatively by this versus like the impact that I've had, like literally cutting my heart open and being like, you guys like it? Does that matter? And it's really easy to feel like, no, it doesn't matter. And like, what is the point of this? You know, like I said, like, I don't fucking need this. And it hurts me sometimes. Most of the time, it hurts me. This hurts me. But then you like it. And then I love that. And I love like hearing from you and like whatever this makes you feel, however you're getting through it or however it's like changing and affecting you. Like I love that. I live for that. That gives me like purpose. And that's amazing and that's great, you know, but I have to be really honest. Like, what was it? Like a month ago, 2 months ago when we had that talk about like what the future of this was or like me versus comedy versus like storytelling. I'm talking to you. You. Do you remember it? Like a month ago? 2 months ago?
Oh my God.
When we had that talk? You know what I'm talking about? And you were like, what do you want? And like, this whole time, I've been like thinking about that. I've been like talking to people about that. I've been like trying to figure it out. Right after you said like, you have potential to like do something really big, I had this feeling where I was like, you should kill yourself. You know what I mean? Like that was genuinely how I felt. And this was before everything got like really crazy. I just felt like, oh, okay, like I'm actually really depressed and like I don't care about anything. You know what I mean? And because that's how that made me feel is like, oh, you think something good and you have potential and like could have something amazing. And I'm like, yeah, you should die. Yeah. Wait, what am I talking about?
I forget.
Yeah.
We took a break.
Okay, so
You were talking about how you
how when we had that talk,
yeah,
was it like 2 months ago?
something like that. I can't even remember the last time I saw you, honestly.
We were talking about like potential, where this was going, what this was, what I could do with it.
Yeah.
And like everything that you said was super positive and like encouraging and like
It's
amazing.
still true.
Yeah, and that made me feel like I should kill myself.
Why?
Exactly, because I'm genuinely, and people don't take this seriously because I seem so fine and calm and normal.
Sure.
Because I can present as normal.
Yeah.
People are like, "Oh, you must not want to die every second of every day."
Sure.
And it's only like the moments when I'm taking that huge dab, like first thing in the morning for 5 seconds, am I like, "Oh, this is fine." You know?
Whatever works, man.
Right, but like I can't be that high all day,
No,
always.
You can't.
And I try, but then I do crazy things, like I have really irresponsible sex and I act like a psycho and I post a lot online and it hurts people's feelings and I just like do things that are irrational and like and nuts and then the people who don't know me that well are just kind of like, what is wrong with you? And the people that know me so well are just like, are you okay? I love you. You know?
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's hard to have so many people think that you're fine when like I know how not fine I am.
Do you I don't want to hijack your show.
No, please.
Do you do you ever feel like maybe taking a day and facing it?
Facing what? Which part?
Any of it, all of it. Taking a day from
Smoking weed?
fucking smoking weed.
I don't think so.
Fucking and like and doing
And having
acid.
sex?
Yeah.
I didn't have sex for 2 months.
That's incredible.
After I fucked up with like the roommate and like the guy that I really liked,
Yeah.
I was celibate for 2 months and then I fell off so hard. The other day.
Yeah.
And just like people don't understand like how bad it is when I say like, oh, you're a sex addict and you're like a girl. You're like, oh, that sounds fun. It's like, is it fun when you have sex with 3 different people in one day? You know what I mean? And like, yeah, it was a little fun.
That's a subjective question.
Right. It was a little fun, but it's also like, is that healthy? Is that like,
No.
Right?
Well, again, hold on. It's a subjective question. If you have an addiction to sex, it's not healthy.
right.
For you, no, that's not healthy. And it's good that you recognize that.
Sure.
Because
But,
the day that comes when you don't is a bad day.
well, it's like, I know it's bad when I'm doing it. And that's almost sort of like the appeal is that it's like, it's so fun to be destructive in a way that was like used against me.
Sure.
You know, like I wasn't like this before I got raped in prison,
Sure.
you know, and then ever since I got out, I have never been the same.
Sure.
And then I have to have like really weird, sorry if this is weird for you, but I have to have like really weird, really violent sex to feel like I'm enjoying it,
Yeah.
you know?
Like
and then,
normal.
yeah. And then that's fucked up to have to like sort of explain those things to people and then be like, yeah, so I know this is like weird, you know, weird to be like, can you like hurt me, you know, or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, it's not an average everyday question for sure, but
It's not a good look
Right.
for real. When I feel like I'm a nice girl, but then like, you know, when I do stuff like that, and then, you know, the people that I have sex with feel like differently about me, and then also feel like they don't really have to like respect me in the same way as like a human being. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Because it gets confusing.
yeah. That would get confusing.
It does, and it makes my relationships really complicated too.
Sure. What steps have you taken to try and fix that?
I mean, okay, so today what I did is I like called two friends that were girls.
Mm.
And I was like, can you please just come over and like sit with me so I don't have sex all day?
Great. Well, okay. So that's good, but that's a short-term solution.
Right. And now I live alone, which is like, you know, and it was kind of just like as soon as I was like the shock of all of that was like how I really responded to like the protest things and like everything that happened is like I hadn't had sex in 2 months. And
Yeah.
then like the night of the protest, I like came home and I was just so fucking psycho, like so psycho from all of that. I
Sure.
like, you know, the first person I called, I was just like, all right, come over. You know what I mean? And then I fell so hard off the wagon,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's not to like enable you or anything, but like,
no, you can do it a little.
but like, but like the Saturday night. For those of you listening, like Saturday night was the first like kind of, I guess you could say, violent night of protesting in America, and that would set anybody with a tick like that off for sure.
Monumental moment in human history.
Yeah, it was huge.
And
but-
then just seeing the cops act exactly as I knew that they truly were, and
Yeah.
and like there's no consequences for them. Maybe
There are beginning to be consequences.
we'll see. Do you think the world's gonna change, or do you think it's gonna be
It's
a police
changing right
state?
now. No, it's not going to be a police state.
Okay.
Things. I am very optimistic about the way things are going. I've been out there every day. Again, I'm sorry to hijack your show.
No, I love this.
But I've been out there pretty much every day. I've taken like 2 or 3 days off. But we've been reporting from the front line of every single march since this started, and you know the vibe out there, you know, at least in Chicago, and I feel like everywhere else, is very positive now. It's been trending super positive. We went to a protest today, and they had fucking hors d'oeuvres. Okay, they had wait staff
Glow
with
testing.
trays, glow testing, bro.
It's like glamping, but for protesting.
we glow tested today so hard. I had salmon ceviche in the middle of fucking Damon and 22nd Street. It was the best fucking glow test I've ever fucking been to in my life. And that's, you know, that's indicative of the current trend of, I think, how people are feeling and how this movement, this revolution, it's a revolution, and it's real and it's happening. You're seeing real quantifiable change on many levels, not every, but many levels of government and policing. You know, you're looking at Minnesota right now. All the city council members agree that they're going to start dismantling the police.
That's so dope.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I never thought in my life I'd see anything like that. So
Yeah.
there is.
Do you think it'll really happen though?
If we have to keep going.
Yeah.
We have to. The second we stop protesting, they'll also relent and be like, oh, okay, I guess he didn't really want it.
If we lose momentum now, then they'll have the ability to be more tactical in how they respond to us. So we just have to throw our bodies at them. This is funny. My friend Jamal Gushan, check him out. He's a comedian in Chicago. Him and I like met, and he's like ex-military, and he didn't go to the protests, and like we were just like talking about it. He's black, I'm white, and I'm Hispanic, but I present as white.
Right, yeah.
And he was like, his response to it all, he was like, yeah, he's like, call me when you're ready to like kill someone. You know what I mean? Because like some people, especially black people, like feel that way. It's
Sure.
like this isn't really enough. You know what I mean? Like Black Lives Matter is like, if anything, it's a fucking compromise. You know what I
Oh,
mean? You have to like
oh, yeah.
rebuild the infrastructure of an entire,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like sect of
But
society.
you essentially have to make a new country.
Yeah,
Like,
that sounds great.
yeah, which is, yeah, I'm fine with that.
You think we can do that with like Trump or Biden though?
No.
And like what? And the powers that be that are in place, like
You don't want to
currently.
hear what I think.
I would
needs to
do want to
happen.
hear what you think.
Oh, man.
I know. I want it to burn.
Well, in order for it to burn, Trump needs to win.
Okay, keep going.
So if we get Joe Biden,
Sorry.
right? That everyone, well, all the rich lefties that are just as complicit as everyone on the right,
That's right.
are gonna go, okay, cool, status quo. Let's go back to, weed's still illegal federally, and private prisons are great, and police are great. Biden came out today and said, I don't want to defund the police. I love the police.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So Biden gets elected, and it's back to, what we've been doing this whole time. It's been the same. It's been getting steadily worse no matter who's been in office since fucking Reagan, essentially. Clinton was terrible. Clinton, I watched a speech today where he was like, we need 100,000 more police officers in the streets. Like
That's an amazing Clinton.
He said that, it's all right. And he said it over and over and over again. This was like one of his main talking points, like how he loved fucking cops. And he got it. And he was like the mastermind of the prison industrial complex.
and they
Like,
fucking
he fucked
paid
over
him for that.
so many black people, Bill Clinton did.
Yeah.
And then George W. Bush came along and 9/11 happened and like everything got fucked up from that. But like it didn't get better for anyone. And then Obama came along and like, okay, cool, black president. He was just as bad, if not worse, for black people than his
They
predecessors.
paid him too.
Yeah.
They paid them all, dude.
Bro. And now we have Trump, who is like this diabolical fucking piece of shit.
Evil dictator.
And we have reached this kind of political climax of I don't know the word, but there's enough anger where we hit this tipping point with George Floyd, and of course Breonna Taylor was days before that, and Ahmaud Arbery was days before Breonna Taylor. Like, we had 3 major incidents in a row.
Yeah.
And Floyd was the last straw. And people can't take it no more.
Which
And
makes me mad, though. That makes me so mad that was the last straw. It's like, the
There's-
last straw should have been fucking kids getting killed,
right.
like toddlers getting killed, and like Ferguson. Like,
Sure.
that should have been the last straw.
But so here's the fortunate thing. The timing of this couldn't, let's be
You think the timing was good?
let's be pedantic about this. The timing couldn't have been better because
Everyone was all.
it's an election year.
Mhm.
And you have a candidate on the left that sucks so much,
Yeah.
dying of dementia,
Mm-hmm.
can't even spell its own name.
That's right.
The guy on the right, who is currently in office, stands a chance of beating this guy. And if he wins, that means that whoever wins in 2024 will be so far to the left of anything we've ever had before,
Yeah.
because people are already so fed up with Trump
Yeah.
that if he wins again, that will spark a real, like, violent, I guess, revolution.
You don't think that's so long to wait between what could happen?
I'll march every fucking day.
Have you seen
until
Handmaid's
November.
Tale? Or do you know
A
that?
little bit of it, yeah.
So I feel like that's where we're headed,
No.
in my opinion.
I'm
Yeah, tell me why that's stupid.
subservient women to fucking, like, I don't think so.
Yeah.
There's enough of us who think like us to prevent that from happening.
Yeah, wait till they kill you all in the streets. It's like the only thing that I think can change it is if the military themselves, the people in the military, turn and say no.
Well, you're going to love this.
Tell me.
Because General Mattis, who's one of Trump's, like, top guys, started talking mad shit about Trump.
That's what's up.
And if Mattis turns against Trump,
Mhm.
at least half the military is going to do whatever Mattis says.
Word.
So the cops in the military are fundamentally different. The military doesn't deal with citizens. They deal with foreign countries, generally speaking. National Guard is different than that. They're like enhanced cops. But, you know, in broader terms, people in the Army and the Navy and the Marines and all that, they're off fighting for us. Like, that's the mentality they have. Like, I'm fighting for the people at home. And if Mattis says we're going to fight for the people at home, they're talking about us. They're not talking about killing us. They're talking about saving us. And you might have, you know, there's a bunch of different...
You don't
This is
think
going
Trump's
down
thing-
such a road.
No,
right
but like you don't think Trump's thing that like the address that he gave that didn't make you feel like he's like, oh, I'm gonna fucking kill you, and then smoking the fuck out of the street of a bunch of peaceful protesters so he could take a photo.
So you can take a picture, yeah. What a big, strong man. So he fucking, but that's kind of what set Mattis off. He's like, this guy's a fucking moron. Like, I'm not going to do that, you know? And
That's what it took.
I mean, well, yeah, we're in very special circumstances right now.
I guess I feel like everyone is out of their fucking minds.
But out of this insanity is going to birth a phoenix of reason in the next, hopefully, 4 years.
You think?
I mean, I don't see, or everyone in America dies, but that's not going to happen.
Not everyone, but like 30%.
No, that's not going to happen.
Okay, we'll see.
We
I hope
will.
not.
We will.
I hope not.
You-
I'm a pessimist by like, or I feel like I'm a realist, but
That is the least realistic thing anyone's ever said in this room.
that we're all gonna die.
30% of America is going to die.
That's my see. It's like it's recorded. You know what I mean? I hope I'm wrong, but we'll see.
It's insane.
Okay.
I have so many crazy podcasts in here. That's the craziest thing anyone said in here.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Men love to call me crazy. So,
Right.
so that's fine. You know, it's really funny because for a long time, it's not like I worried about this so much, but it did cross my mind.
What?
Like with this podcast, like what if nobody believes me?
What do you mean?
Of like
Believes
how
you what?
bad it is, like how bad cops are, like how fucking
Oh,
fucked
sure.
they are, and like how they target people and how they cover shit up and how they're all in on it, and like, you know what I mean? And now it's like everyone can see it.
Aren't you happy now? Like a part of you has to be happy. Like I told you so happy. Like no, look, fucking turn on the news. Look at them. They're beating They're shooting pepper spray at 5-year-olds.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, and
part
then
of you's got to be like, fuck you, I told you.
well, and then some kid, he recorded it happening. He recorded the cop doing it, and they arrested him.
Yep.
Just like, what the fuck? You know? And it's like, I knew all this. So it's like, I'm not happy that everyone knows now. I'm just kind of like,
I'm
I told
ecstatic.
you.
I'm so happy. Because the more people know, the more outrage there is against it, and
Yeah.
the quicker we can fix it.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening right now. There's a list, you know, one of those chain lists going around Facebook. But it's like, here are the things we've accomplished in the last 10 days. And it's like a 10 scroll list of just shit that we've done. It's
That is pretty great.
incredible. I can
Yeah.
fucking read it right now. Like, it's just like, here, I'm going to fucking pull it up. I'm going to pull this fucking list up.
Pull the fucking
I'm
list
going
up.
to pull this list up.
Everyone needs to hear it.
I'm going to read some of the highlights that that peaceful protesting. There were only 2 days of like quote unquote violent protesting and and riots. There were actually riots, but
But
let's
the
see.
riots are good, though.
Within 10 days of sustained protests, here are a couple highlights. Minneapolis bans the use of chokeholds. Okay, small baby steps, small start.
Not enough. Keep going.
Charges are upgraded against Officer Chauvin, 3rd degree to 2nd degree murder. Great. That's
murder one, but sure.
Sure, murder, of course, murder one. And his accomplices are arrested and charged with 2nd degree murder and aiding and abetting,
Okay.
which they didn't lay hands on the man and they got murder charges.
Yeah.
Fuck yes, dude.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
huge.
As they should. As they all fucking should.
They're
though.
all complicit.
Yeah.
And their charges reflect that. Dallas adopts a duty to intervene rule that requires officers to stop other cops who are engaging in inappropriate use of force. We'll see if that actually fucking works, but there's something. In Maryland, a bipartisan work group of state lawmakers announced a police reform work group. LA reduced LAPD's $1.8 billion operating budget. So LA is defunding the police.
How much are they taking?
I think they cut like a tenth of it out. So it's small baby steps.
Barely.
But we're talking about 10 days. 10 days protesting.
Yeah.
Imagine where we'll be in 20.
I know, but I feel like they're just trying to placate us.
Good. Keep placating us and we'll keep going out there, and you're going to have to keep fucking doing shit until we're done, because it's not going to end, and they're not going to kill us. They need us alive so we can buy stuff.
Yeah.
If they kill us, no
Gross.
one's going to buy their stuff.
Okay, but then how do we destroy capitalism?
We are destroying capitalism.
How that?
The economy is still relatively shut down
Okay.
while all of this is happening. Most people are protesting because they don't have to go to work.
Which is dope.
This is the perfect time. I'm telling you, dude. Everything lined up. COVID-19 happened, and then unfortunately, 3 innocent people died. By the way, George Floyd was innocent. I don't know if everyone knows that. The $20 bill that he was real.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't even a forged 20. And the shop owner got his shop burned down. Who called the cops?
I'm sorry, but good.
Yeah, thank God. Fuck that guy. But like things are happening in such an order that bodes well for a real change. And
Okay.
we're seeing small steps. 10 days is not a long time. And
Yeah.
on a universal scale, come on, 14.5 billion years. Let's go.
No, you're right.
But like we're seeing incremental change, and the longer we go and the more foreign countries that join us in this, that Denmark protested.
Yeah, so did France,
France, Germany, Spain,
England.
all these countries, Brussels, New Zealand, Poland,
It's amazing.
like
That is amazing. That's beautiful.
they have no reason to do this, and it's such a moving thing that they're down to shut down their own countries and take to the streets with us.
Yeah.
There is such positivity in this, and you need to see that side of it.
Mhm.
Because that'll motivate you to keep going and to get things done, and things are getting done. We're not close to finished, but it's a long tunnel, but I see that little pin of light at the end of it right now. You can see it. You have to squint, but you can fucking see it. We gotta stay out there, but we can get there.
Okay, honestly, I feel so much better.
Good. Good.
I'm really glad that we could talk about all this stuff, because it's just like
I'm done talking on your podcast.
No, I loved it. They love it. You love it. Shut up. You love it.
I'm
How long is that?
32 minutes.
Oh, that's perfect. All right, you guys. I'm pretty sure I lost my sponsor, which is fine, and like that's great. I think I'll get another one. I think the podcast is good. I think that like it doesn't really matter what I do art-wise, because I've already shown that I can like do something beautiful and like affect people, and like that's great. That's like proof of concept for like me as like a creator and like a person. And I don't know what I'm going to do with this, and I hope that you like whatever. Most of you, the ride or dies, the people that like really are like, this is my shit, tell me that like you don't care what the fuck I talk about. So I'm going to take that to heart and really just like.
I'm sorry that I did most of the
No,
talking.
I loved it.
To all of you out there.
No, it's nice. It's nice, and you guys get to know James, which is like we've got a whole different vibe. You know what I mean? Than before. It's real loosey goosey in like the best way, though.
Oh, yeah.
It's more real, which I think is important.
It's a hang, dude.
Yeah.
It's a hang.
Well, because hopefully, and like people tell me like the weird things they do when they listen, when they're like in the shower, shout out Piper, or you know what I mean, like
What up, Piper?
Yeah, sitting in a bathtub.
Wash your ass.
Yeah. Or, just like whatever the fuck you do when like you put this on and you're like, all right, this is the time I'm going to like hang out with this girl,
Yeah.
And also it's like, if I can't like get high and like be a total fuck and like just, really be myself, because everything I've ever been told and everything you've ever been told your entire life has been a lie. Drugs are good. Sex is cool. I mean, I guess that was not a lie, but you know what I mean? But like drugs are good. Like fuck whoever you want. Use protection. Fuck whoever you want. And also just like success is a lie. In my opinion, success is a lie. And I think that like where I'm at is fine. And like if it ever gets bigger to the point where there are more people that I can respond to, or if people can take this and misinterpret it and like pick me apart, then like I won't even want that. I feel like that's too far. So I'm chilling, and I will come back and do this again if you'll have me. That's a weird way to say that.
I'll have you.
Okay, thanks. Thank you. All right, I love you guys.